How's it going, everyone? And welcome back to another edition of the Stupid Questions podcast. Today on the pod, for this second episode of season 3, is going to be with Skye Munch. This is her round 2 interview. If you remember back in November of 2024, I had her on and we talked about her impending pregnancy for her little girl, Lois, who is now 1 year old, or 14 months, coming up here in 2026. Great conversation. Just so much fun for me getting to dive deep with her on parenting, on what it means to be a mom. For my sake, just knowing maybe a little bit more of what to expect, what not to expect, and how to take it all in stride. Because Ashley, my wife, is going to be, at the time this podcast airs, probably very soon to having our little girl, Noelle. So with that said, I will introduce you to Skye. But before we jump into it, I just want to say I have decided for this year, at least for the short term, I'm going to start releasing just one episode a week so that I can try to maintain a steady flow through this new parenting world and then professional world as well. So thanks for being here. Thanks for liking, commenting, subscribing, doing all those things. Check out the show notes if you want to follow Skye and her journey. And I think that's it. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to Skye Munch. I think that's it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, there we go.
Perfect.
That's it.
Nice. Getting the contractual obligation hat on. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Do they specify in contracts like when, how often, like how many times you have to do that, or is it just every time you're on camera you have to?
Not how many times, but just it's like if you're doing an interview or if you're doing just basically something where you're representing yourself as an athlete, I think, then wear the hat. So
awesome.
They're a good sponsor, so I'm happy to do it. Kidding. I signed the contract.
Good for you. Well, Skye, thank you so much for taking the time again. I'm trying to think last time we talked. It was right before you were about to have your baby.
Yeah, I was pregnant for sure. I would love to know when that was, tell you, because I feel like a completely different person. I'm almost like embarrassed of probably how I answered things last time because I feel so different. You'll probably feel that way in like a month. You're like, why did I say that?
I totally get it. Let me see. Skye. I'm going to check it on here because it should show up in my library here. Episode 101. I released it November 2024. Wow, is it that long ago? Episode 101. So literally like 100 episodes ago.
You must have released it like, I think you released it like right when I had a baby. I had my baby on November 13th. Oh, wow.
That's crazy. So, yeah, I would love to know, for those who aren't interested in anything when it comes to having kids, they probably want to skip this episode. But, hey, I'm here to be fully educated from you, a mom, from here soon going to be experiencing life as a father. I'm not a professional athlete, but I definitely like to train and stay fit and healthy. And so would love to just learn anything and everything about what you have figured out in the past year and 4 months of being a mom, being a pro. Yeah. How's that for open-ended?
I've learned a lot. Yeah, that is open-ended. Are we recording already? That was all. This is all going to go on the podcast. I can me slurping my smoothie. 100%. Talking about the feed hat. I'm happy to answer anything. I have certainly learned so much in the last 14 months. Actually, today, my daughter is 14 months old. So, I feel like a completely different person. And basically everything I thought I was and wanted before I had Lois, I had no idea what I actually thought and wanted. Everything I thought I wanted is not what I want now. Like as a parent or like as Skye, an individual, like, oh, these were my goals and aspirations. Both.
Yeah. So it's just all around.
The parenting part, I don't know that I necessarily had a lot of ideas just because I'd never done that before. But I guess being Skye, like I've been Skye my whole life. So I'm like, oh yeah, this is how it's going to be. This is how I'm going to feel. The parenting part, certainly as she gets older, I think I'll probably be more surprised by, just because like with a baby, it's not like she's getting into toddlerhood, but it's not like she knows right from wrong right now, right? Like she doesn't understand things, so there's not really like a discipline side or I don't know. We're just here to like love and support her, right? And help her and feed her and help her sleep and all those things. So that's pretty That feels very
Yeah.
natural to me.
Well, what are some of the things that you expected life or your goals to be like versus like how it actually ended up becoming and being?
Yeah. So, I mean, especially in regards to triathlon, that's obviously where I had most of my expectations, or I don't know if expectation is the right word, but just how I thought things would be. First of all, I thought I would be sleeping through the night within like 4 months or so. I thought, oh, if I can just get to mostly sleeping through the night before I start back training, then that I should be good, right? Like babies just start sleeping through the night, and some do, but I went a solid 6 months without sleeping through the night myself personally. So, and I still am waking up. Like I was up twice last night. I think she's teething right now, but anyway, so the sleep thing I think was very different, and that drastically affects being able to train and perform and recover. And then more emotionally, like I expected being able to get some childcare. I planned on getting a nanny, and I did. I thought, oh, I'll just get a nanny, a full-time nanny, and I'll get back to training, and great, right? And when it came time to do that, when I was getting back to training and, you know, just looking at it, I was like, I don't want someone else taking care of my baby. And it was very, very hard for me. So I didn't hire a full-time nanny. We had a part-time nanny for about 6 months, and we started slow. Like we started about 10 hours a week and then up to almost 30 hours a week at our peak, leading into Kona. So, but I didn't love it. Our nanny was great. She took great care of Lois, and it has nothing to do with her. It has everything to do with me, right? And what I wanted for Lois and what I wanted for my own motherhood experience. And I guess I learned that I wanted to be the one to take care of Lois and not someone else. And also there's a certain level of chaos I felt having someone coming and going from my house and like having a schedule that I felt like I needed to stick to. And I didn't anticipate that, right? I did not anticipate the stress of having someone else, having to coordinate so much with like a third party about my schedule and my daughter's schedule. Because there's so much that goes into it, right? It's like nanny comes over and then I'm like, okay, she woke up at 7, so she's going to be ready for a nap in 20 minutes. And she ate at 8:30, and so here, I'll breastfeed her quick before I go for my run, and then I'll be back at this time. Like, there was just so much coordinating that it left. There was a lot of stress associated with that, and not bad stress, but just I realized I wanted to go more with the flow, and that isn't really conducive to like full Ironman
I was gonna say, like, are you more going with the flow nowadays, like?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so, like, that brings your level of stress down. Do you find that your recovery, like, this the way that you view life, overall stress hormones are lower because of that?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I just felt like I was so stressed last year. And I was working with my coach, David Timberly Davis. We're not working together currently, although I could call him anytime for, like, advice or whatever. But he was so great. You know, I would just shorten or adjust or skip workouts if I needed, and he was always totally understanding. But there was even that level of stress of feeling like I had a program that I should do, and you know, like a schedule every day that I should do, and that also adds a certain level of stress, even though, you know, David was not projecting any of that stress on me. It's just my own, what I thought I needed to do. So anyway, I feel like I'm just rambling. There's a lot of things.
I'll ask questions.
There's a lot of things. Trying to think what else was. I have been very surprised by how much I just love being a mom and how much I love taking care of Lois. Awesome. Like it's probably almost to my detriment. Like I love to do things for her, and even if my husband's like here and available, I'm just like, I'll do it, you know. And you know, I need my time too, and I need and Lois needs to have these experiences with other people. Like she needs to spend time with her dad or whatever. So
If I may interject a
anyway,
question, like with because you like doing,
yeah.
I'm curious, like your quote unquote love language. I don't know if you know about those things, but were you always more of an acts of service focused person prior to having a child, or is this more emphasized now that you like have a daughter?
I don't even know that it has to do with the love language. It's just
Yeah, you just
motherly
want to
instinct, I think. I just want to give, and I just want to take care of her, and I want her to have her needs met. And obviously there's a certain way that I like to do things, and not that there's only one right way to give her a bath or something, but you know, yeah, so I, especially she's getting a little older now, it's like you gotta let other people help, but that doesn't mean I'm getting a nanny again.
So you're done with the nanny
So,
world. Like
we'll
you're
see.
I'm gonna do it. Yeah.
For now, you know, I basically, after Kona, I just talked with our nanny and I said, hey, I think I've learned that I really want to be the one taking care of Lois. Like, I love being a mom and I want to spend more time with her. It was really hard to leave her to go do long training sessions, or, you know, just some days not getting to spend a lot of time with her. And yeah, so I just said, from this date on, it was like mid-November is when I said, from this time on, I don't think we'll be able to guarantee hours for you. So you've been wonderful, but yeah, this is just me. And I said, I don't know, maybe in a couple months I'll change my mind, or maybe we'll want you to come here and there and I'll let you know. But yeah, so far we've just kind of been making it work. And yeah, the stress is so much lower, and every day's just different. Like, babies are not robots. My child is not on the exact same schedule every day. There's some predictability, give or take like an hour, but like even in the last couple of days, she went from mostly waking up at 7 to like now she's been waking up at 5 or 6, and I'll feed her, and then she'll sleep till almost 9. So I don't, like, every day I just don't know what's gonna happen.
So you obviously like, you're beaming with joy. You obviously love your daughter and being a mom, and the passion has grown in that area. Has it decreased your level of interest or motivation or goal-seeking orientedness, like your direction in other areas of life?
I don't think so. Like, I still do feel a high level of motivation and drive for life, like in general, but my focus and priority is Lois. And when you become a parent, you'll realize how much time they take. Like, so much time. And I don't want to just be like sitting on my laptop or sitting on my phone doing things all the time when I'm taking care of her. Of course, like, you can't give every last second of attention. You'll respond to texts or whatever, check some emails, send some emails, whatever. And as she's getting older, like, she'll independently play now a little bit. So there's a little more flexibility there for me. But to answer your question,
I'm learning. I'm like sucking it all in.
Yeah. To answer your question though, I guess, like with triathlon, because that's really what we're here for, right? Triathlon. It's not that I'm not motivated. It's not that I don't want to be good again. It's just that I'm not willing to do the things at the expense of my daughter. I'm not willing to train 25 hours a week at the expense of being totally exhausted and totally mostly MIA most of the day for Lois. And I guess that's the difference. So the drive is there. I like triathlon. I still love triathlon. I still want to perform at a high level, but I want to take care of Lois and be there for her more than I want to be back to like my winning ways or whatever you want to call it. And so for me, it's kind of like I'm very at peace with that. And now I'm in more of an exploration phase of like, okay, well, what am I willing to give? What can I do? Balancing training with my husband's work schedule and the nap time window we have now, because she's now mostly just napping once a day. You'll find the naps just evolve a lot throughout the first year. So most days she naps like 2 to 3 hours in the afternoon. And so I can get a lot done on the trainer in 2 to 3 hours, you know? And it doesn't always work out. Like today she woke up after an hour, and that's going to happen sometimes. But I'm also not stressed about it. Like, okay, I do the best I can and see what happens. And I think even just doing less and having less overall stress is going to pay off, even performance wise, but also just enjoyment wise. Like that's
when you give yourself the ability to relax, or to like, well, this is what happened, I'll go with the flow. Like I've experienced that in other ways, whenever, and just in life in general, whenever you give yourself the room to, oh, I can't go do this or that because of these things that happen, it usually feels a lot better and you sleep better at night.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I feel so much better. So yeah, it's like, to answer the question, bottom line is the motivation, the drive, all of that is still there, but the order of priority has completely changed.
Well, I'm curious to know also, because, you know, we talked a little bit about the feed, and, you know, and other contractual obligations like that you have as a professional athlete. You know, right when you're about to have your baby, that's November, so contracts are kind of cemented for the next year, 2025. Now you've had your child for a year, and you're in 2026. I'm curious to know, like, did those companies that you have engaged with, did they question that? Like, hey, are you gonna be a pro more, or are you gonna be able to get as many races and get as many eyeballs for us? Like,
yeah, I was pretty transparent with my sponsors. I was transparent with all of my sponsors. And honestly, I'm still in discussion with a couple. I'm not sure where I stand with them, but I know where I stand with some of them. And I was honest, and whether that was... I think sometimes you have to play the game with sponsors, but I would rather not play the game. I'd rather just be honest and say, hey, here's where I'm at. Like, I mean, I can speak openly with Trek, for example. I don't have a contract with them this year. They would probably still help me out, but like, I don't have a contract again. And I was honest with them, and I said, I am not sure where I'm at. Because at the end of last year, I was not sure I wanted to race at all again, because I was so stressed out. I was so exhausted, and I just needed to find peace. And so I said, you know what? I love being a mom. My priority is Lois. I'm not sure what I'm going to do next year. And maybe that cost me a contract, but also maybe it was my time to go. And maybe I didn't get enough eyeballs on my social media, and maybe I didn't come back and perform at all. Like I went and did Kona. That's the only professional race I did, and I got 21st. So like, I did not get back to I was not as fit as I had been in the past. I didn't perform to my standards. So maybe, you know, there's a whole host of reasons why maybe I no longer have that contract. But I was just honest, and they make their decisions based on, you know, what's worthwhile for them. And I respect that. And I also respect my situation, and I don't know. Some sponsors care a lot about what you race and like what you're doing. And then some are like, you know what, we're here for the journey. And if you win or lose, we're here for it, you know? So I don't know. Every sponsor is different. And I'm obviously grateful for the ones who are still supporting me, even though I've been transparent and said, I'm not sure exactly how much I'm going to race or what I'm going to race. I tell them what I am thinking I want to do, but also, not promising anything.
Another kind of question along this vein, just because I'm curious, do you find that your interaction with the sponsors is more or less like, do you feel like you're trying to please or to deliver to the individual who is a representative of the brand, or do you feel like that you are like here to deliver and work that relationship more with the brand as a whole? Because I've heard it's more of like focused on the person. So like one person who's a rep and maybe
like the person who decides my contract. I can see that, but I don't know. I probably could do a better job of like trying to play that game, but I kind of just try to be me and do me, and if they're interested in continuing, then great, but if not, I don't know. It's sponsorship is wild. It's kind of wild.
It seems so messy to me, like, because it's like a human you're interacting with, and you're both human, but then it's like, oh, well, I represent this company and we're trying to get eyeballs, and you're like, well, I'm representing me and I need to eat. So it's like, where do we come to the middle?
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, some sponsors care a lot about what races you do and how you perform, and some care a lot about social media. And yeah, I mean, I think I've just come to a place where I like doing social media. Obviously, I like winning too. I like the whole the whole world of sponsorship and what goes into it. But I will say, yeah, like I understand it all, and I probably didn't do the best job this last year, like sharing my story on social media, just because
you were being a mom.
Another thing I was being a mom, and honestly, in a lot of ways, I felt like a fraud. I felt like maybe fraud's not the right word, but I was no longer Skye Munch. Like, I was Skye Munch, the mom, trying to do triathlon, and not Skye Munch, the like really good Ironman professional triathlete. And so there's a bit of an identity crisis that goes on, like, when you become a mom, because, and maybe not everyone feels this way, but it's like your world gets flipped upside down. And I don't know, I think a lot of people follow me on social media because they're interested in my racing and they're interested in seeing me do well or whatever. And so then you start sharing like mom stuff, and I mean, I've lost tons of followers since I got pregnant, but yeah, I mean, I don't have a huge following to start with, but yeah, I would say like 10%. Wow. So then it's kind of just like, who am I? What should I post about? And you should just post about what you feel genuine about. And that's always the answer. But yeah, it was just kind of like, what do I post about? How I can barely hold like 220 watts on my bike right now? Like, that's who cares? So
somebody might find inspiration.
I don't know. Yeah, no, but like, for sure. I it's just different. I think that was a challenge for me, of like genuinely sharing my story when I felt like I was supposed to be someone else on there. Because I felt like I was supposed to be old Skye on there, and I wasn't anymore. And plus, yeah, like I was sleep deprived and trying to just do everything, and very low priority. It was pumping out content. And I didn't have a lot of photos. Like, there's all these reasons. These aren't excuses, but yeah, these are just challenges of trying to play the sponsorship game, honestly.
When you woke up in the morning, when you're about to do like race Kona, what were you feeling? Were you like, oh, okay, I made it, thank goodness, or I'm so excited to race, or please let this be over?
No, I was excited. Like, when I got to Kona, I think I felt, I keep saying, I felt very at peace with where I was at, because I knew the year was very challenging. Oh, that was like making me cry. It was so challenging. And there were like, outside of becoming a mom, there were also some personal challenges that were really stressful. And so I was proud of myself no matter what. And, like Lois was there with me. Matt made it. My mom was there. So I just had great support. And, again, like, I cared so much more about my baby than I cared about how well I was going to do at Kona. And of course, in a perfect world, of course, I would have loved to be back at my peak fitness. Like, absolutely. Sure. I would have loved to have the circumstances and the support or whatever, or even just the mental capacity to have a nanny 40 hours a week so I could train and recover. But like, that's not how it went for me, and that's okay. So I was just very at peace with all of that. So yeah, the morning of Kona, I just was like, let's go do this. Like, I was curious. I was also very, very curious to just see how I would do, because, I got in a few good weeks of Ironman training, but even those weren't perfect. And the numbers, while I saw hints of my old self, like I knew I wasn't totally back to where I was. So yeah, I was curious, open-minded, and kind of excited. And, also relieved that I had gotten there, that we were there. Because I knew after that I could take a break and decompress and really assess what I wanted to do.
Focus shift you're talking about. if I
Yeah.
can ask, what were the harder parts that were kind of outside of some of the things you mentioned? If you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, I don't really want to share details, but there were, I guess, there were some struggles. Like, I mean, really, it was in my marriage, so like that's a pretty significant relationship.
Yeah.
Just some added stress there, and yeah, I feel like we've moved past it now, but it was pretty challenging for me for several months there, and yeah, kept me up at night.
No
That's
kidding.
for sure.
Well, thanks for sharing a little bit. Yeah, relationships are huge. I know.
Yeah.
For me, like, so I've been married going on 9.5 years. I don't know how long you've been married, but when I look back,
10.
So when I look back on the past 9 or so years of marriage, like our first year was like honestly probably the worst because it was just we were in some rough places, and I was so incredibly immature. I told my wife when we got married, like, oh, I'm not going to be traveling much this year. 2 weeks after we got married, I was gone to the Philippines for like 10 days on a business trip. Yeah, so like the complete immaturity there. But we went through all of this, like these cycles, I guess, of ups and downs. And now I can honestly say, like, having gone through some of those sleepless nights that you're talking about. Now that we've come through it, it's given me and my wife, but definitely me, more confidence in just like the bond and union, because it sucks to go through hard times, but as long as you can kind of come through it together, that's the hope. So.
Yeah, and a lot of times I've found, like, it's even if it's not even the stress for me was not something that really was in my control. It was more, we all make our own choices, and so our choices affect our spouses, and it does make you stronger, but it can also it causes it's really stressful when you're in it. So
with the focus, like you talked about, taking reprieve after October, obviously now like your focus is Lois is the kind of the main thing. Is Lois, right? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, Lois.
So like you gained that focus and you realized that's the change that you needed to make. Was it mostly internal that decision came and the piece came to, like, no more nanny, I'm going to go with the flow? Or were there some signs or even people who kind of spoke something into your life, like, hey, maybe you should think about recalibrating this? Like, what were the pieces, the variables that led to that change?
I think a lot of it was internal because I knew from the beginning what I really wanted, but I also had set this goal to get back to Kona, and I knew I wanted to see that through. And there was an element of like, well, if I don't race at all this year, then like I'm not going to have any sponsors, and I didn't know if I was ready to be done with triathlon completely. So I wanted to race. But I think my mom heart knew I also wanted to be with Lois, but I tried to just kind of find the balance, right? And, I would say it was mostly internal of me just finally listening to my instinct and also like things just my nervous system, like things didn't feel sustainable, and that if something doesn't feel sustainable, then it's not you have to change it. So I just knew that. And yeah, so the answer is internally. I can't think of, I mean, I guess I did have conversations. Like I remember, whether I was talking to my mom or my mother-in-law or even like Jackie Herring and I talk a lot, and just, people sharing their advice of just like, how important being a mom is. And, it's up to you. It's up to me how I want this to go. I mean, obviously I can't control everything. Lois is her own human, but I mean, I can control how I spend my time and where I give my energy. And so I think it was just taking back a bit of that control in a way, but largely it was me just listening to my gut and my heart.
Who are some of the, and thank you for sharing that. But who are some of the, like, as you mentioned, Jackie, who are some of the other tri moms who you've like, talked to see how they did it? And is there quite a difference in like how people have attacked I don't want to say the problem, but the gift of having a child and being a pro athlete?
Yeah, and the challenge of it. Yeah, I mean, Holly Lawrence and I had our babies five-ish weeks apart, and I haven't spoken to her in the last, probably since just after Kona or November or something, but we have stayed in decent contact, like comparing notes, and whether it's like sleeping or I don't know, just teething or little things.
Cool.
But yeah, and she has a totally different situation. Like her husband basically full-time supports. I mean, their life is triathlon, so he's on deck coaching, and Poppy's there on deck during swim. So we've talked about it, because I told her I was like, yeah, I don't want someone else taking care of Lois. And she said, yeah, like, I don't know what I would do if I didn't have Sean, the situation she has, the setup she has. So that's something I've learned, is that everyone has a different situation, and every mother has to make different choices. Right. And you can't even compare. And certainly, I talked to Jocelyn McCauley. I remember at Kona, I talked to Jocelyn. She has 2 kids, and even her kids are a little older. And she also struggles with the feeling of like, am I missing things? Or, I mean, I don't want to put words in her mouth, but we all can kind of relate to that feeling of, I guess, the conflicting feelings. And it's just, you have to choose how much you're willing to give and how much time you're willing to spend away from your kids. And some people are okay with more, and some people are okay with less. And that can evolve for me, right? Like maybe in a year, totally, I'll think, you know what? Yeah, like let's get a nanny a few days a week, or maybe in a couple months I'm going to think that. But I think it's very important to listen to what you want, because that brings peace. In whatever it looks like.
Important. I feel like if you don't have peace, and everything just falls apart, literally everything else. It's like, or the problems seem
it's a
so
complete
much
disaster
bigger than they actually are when you don't have it.
Yeah, totally. So, yeah, and I think, I mean, I've talked to other moms briefly. Obviously, Instagram is a big place, and you hear things, or you have quick interactions, and everyone just has to make it work in their own way, because everyone's situation's different. And like my husband works a job outside of triathlon, and he has some flexibility there. So we're able to, kind of coordinate, but sometimes he'll be gone for like a week, and then that flexibility and support is gone. So like we just have to take it, week to week, and hope the nap time lasts a long time.
I was going to ask too, because my sister, she has, I forget how old he is, Mark. I think he's going to be 2 relatively soon, but he's just starting to talk quite a bit. But like, how's it going with Lois and her speech recognition? Yeah,
her speech.
How's it been going?
Yeah, I think she understands quite a bit. And then she says like mama. She says she knows dad, but it's funny, she'll call Matt mama sometimes. Mom is what she says. And then I think she just knows that's like her caretaker word. And she'll say, uh-oh, like when we drop something, or she drops something, or she'll say, wow. So she has a few little words.
So I don't even have my daughter yet, but just seeing my sister's kids say those words, I don't know why it brings so much joy to me. Like to hear when they go, oh wow, or like just the simple things you can teach them.
It's like so cute.
That's the joy in life. That's what everybody needs to experience.
No, honestly, like, I don't want to tell people what to do, but if you're like debating about having kids because you're worried about like losing a part of you or losing sport. I've had women message me and say, oh, I'm like so afraid to give up. Like I won't be able to do sport. And like, no, having a kid is so much better than any of that. And yes, it's challenging. Yes, it can be so exhausting, but you cannot understand the joy and the love until you experience it. And you just can't. Because even when I was pregnant, I had no idea. I was sitting there growing this little human, and I had no idea how much my heart would change once she was actually here. So it's the best experience. And you hear parents say that, right? Like, oh, it's just the best.
Like,
and
yeah, sure.
it's insane too. It's crazy. Like, and of course, like, I can't just go ride my bike whenever I want. I can't just go run whenever I want. I can't do all those things, but it doesn't feel like a sacrifice, really. And I don't know. I can't explain it. You'll experience it when you experience it. But yeah, have the baby if you're worried about it. I think if you have a situation where you have like a good relationship, a loving partner, and a fairly stable home, we're all doing the best we can. There's never going to be a perfect time, probably. And yeah, I mean, sometimes I even think to myself, like, I should have just done this sooner, but I don't regret it. But also, was it worth just training and racing around the world for a few more years? I don't know.
I'm curious, as you have so a couple of thoughts come to mind. Having a child, although I haven't had it yet, but I am told that it's like you reach this next level of understanding of the depth of love or joy, and probably stress or sadness too. And then as they get into teenage years, I can only imagine what you feel. But it seems like there's like another level of our brain that's unlocked in our ability to receive and to give these emotions. So like that's just a fascinating thing, and I wonder how that affects you as an individual and how you perceive others in the world, or like even world events or other people that are experiencing things. Like, how has it affected you in that way?
Yeah, I think it's absolutely unlocked more joy and love, and anything, the feeling is just beyond anything else. And then I view other mothers so differently. And it's funny, when I first had Lois, I remember thinking I was the worst friend to my friends who had babies, because I had no idea like what they really needed. If your friend has a baby, they just need you to drop off a meal and like check in on them and ask how they're doing and just listen to them. Like, they need food and they just need some like listening ear. And so I first of all, I feel like a whole new camaraderie with other moms. Like, anytime I see
we're part of the club.
Moms with kids in the store or something, like you just understand. And world events you mentioned, I think those feel a little scarier to me now. Like, I feel a bit more of the gravity of situations that aren't ideal. And certainly there's also been like some fears unlocked, right? I remember, I don't feel this quite as much now, but earlier on, I mean, she's only a year old. It's not like we have that long, but she's changed a lot in that year. But I remember earlier on just, like not wanting and thinking nothing bad can ever happen to this sweet little baby. Like, just the fear of anything bad. I remember being terrified she was going to get sick, or, just those things. It just, my mom heart just felt everything. And the other thing, when I became a mother and I felt like the love I have for her, I also knew, I'm going to cry again. This is the crying podcast. But I also knew, I was like, I love this baby so much, and motherhood is the best thing ever. But I also knew, like, that means it's going to break my heart as well. Because with like such great love becomes like the such. Yeah, exactly. And not even in a bad, not even because like, oh, something bad will happen to her, or she'll make choices that, maybe are upsetting or something, but just even her growing up, like, that is heartbreaking, which sounds crazy. Yeah. You'll understand it. But, it's wild. It's the most human experience though. And the thing that my husband always says is like, someone did it for you. And so it's like the most human thing to pay it forward and do it for someone else. And it's true. It's a freaking ton of work. Like, it's a lot of work being a parent, but it is also the best. So
I think we talked last time a little bit about religion, but it has been explained to me that there's no better way to understand the gravity and the value of the gospel until after you have like a child, because like what that means to give up a child, or the depth of love that you're talking about, where it's like you love so intensely, but you can have your heart broken by so many people. Because I think of the most intense relationships I've ever had with like my mom, maybe a best friend, obviously my wife. I don't have any kids yet. I will soon, and that'll be another one. But there have been times where you just like you feel so sick because something happened in that relationship that made you feel alienated or disconnected, and it's just like the worst type of a feeling. But at the same time, there's no deeper love than those things you're talking about. So it adds like a real value add or understanding to what the gospel is. Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, and I, not necessarily along gospel lines, but like I guess speaking of others, if you're thinking of like God's love for you or whatever, but like I remember also right after I had my baby, I remember thinking, oh my gosh, is this how my mom felt about me and still feels about me? Like that's crazy. It's crazy. Because I don't know, like I think we probably just take our moms and our parents for granted a lot of the times, and because you can't fully appreciate how much they gave and how much they loved you until you experience it. So
do you feel like it changed the way that you view your parents at all? Maybe you already had this, because there seems to be like an age of recognition when you get to an age and you realize, oh, my parents were just kids too, and they were kids themselves trying to figure out how to raise kids. Did it change how you view your parents in that way? As well?
Yeah, I think so. And my mom was quite literally a kid. She was 17, so she was very young. And I think for my mom specifically, I appreciate how much work it is. Like, I don't know how she did it with me and my sisters being so young.
How many sisters do you have again? 2? Yeah.
I have 2. Yeah. And yeah, there's just a new appreciation for what your parents, your mom, especially the mother, no offense to the dads, but in most cases, the mother does so much of the work. Especially early on, like breastfeeding and all the night wakings.
Yeah, I'm afraid I'm going to be useless.
Yeah. But you're not useless. You're very important because you can do so much to help your wife. Is your wife planning on breastfeeding? Yeah, so like you can't do that, but you can bring her water, you can bring her snacks, you can do the laundry, you can keep the house tidy, you can manage people wanting to come over.
Schedule.
You know, there's so much. Yeah, there's so much that you can help with. Do you want my one tip? I was thinking about this before the call because I knew we would probably talk about this. The one thing that I'm so glad that I did, and I didn't even get as far as I wanted to because Lois came 2 weeks early, but I prepared food and snacks and froze them so that I had, because I also wanted to eat like pretty nutritiously after I had my baby for recovery and breast milk supply and all of that. So I made like a few batches of the healthy snacks that I liked, like these they're superhero muffins, run fast, eat slow.
Send me the recipes.
Like I made some of my favorites. I made like these energy balls with chia seeds and nut butter and stuff like that. I made some soups. I made some meatballs. Like I made these protein pancakes I like that are just like egg whites, cottage cheese, oats. Froze all of that. So like for the first week or two, I had all these healthy snacks or breakfasts like readily available. And yeah, we had friends and, you know, neighbors bring meals as well. But, you know, usually they're just bringing dinner or something, which is very helpful. But there's you got to eat all day. And if you're breastfeeding, you really have to eat like around the clock. I had like a snack tray by my bed every night. And when I was up in the night, I ate all night long and hydrated all night long. So yeah. Anyway, the meal prep and having some stuff in the freezer that you can pull out and use is very helpful if you have the time to do it before.
I'm gonna do that. I remember chia seeds, energy bars. I may text you and be like, "Can you give me a list of those things?"
I can text you some of the stuff I made.
I do like cooking, so it's relatively easy to put those together. And I've had some of those energy balls before. They're amazing.
Well, and then like soups are super easy to freeze, and then just put them in the pot and on low, and then it's warmed back up. Things that you can freeze easily and enjoy, because I'm like weird about leftovers, so it's not like I would just make anything and freeze it. But yeah, soups are great, and yeah, I made like these bison meatballs, all these things. So, And I didn't even get to half of what I wanted to make because she came
that's
early.
so interesting.
So.
You said,
But even that was helpful.
It's so interesting you said 2 weeks early because like that's how my wife's mother had all her kids was 2 weeks early, and now she's going to be 2 weeks early.
Yeah.
In 2 weeks. So we're like thinking it's probably going to happen.
You never know.
It's so fascinating.
Yeah, I knew like once I got to 37 weeks, that's considered like full term, where you can safely. I think that's where you can have the baby and it's not considered like preemie or whatever. I'm not a doctor, so don't quote me on that. But I knew once I got to 37 weeks and it was like, okay, game on, I can have her now and it's going to be fine. And so, yeah, she came like 37 weeks,
that's
5 days or something.
I just chat GPT'd as we were looking like how much energy does it take to produce breast milk leach? It's saying like 450 to 500 calories extra per day of like energy expended to keep that going. I had no idea. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is a lot, and the hunger pain that comes with it hits different. Really? I will say I am still breastfeeding, and obviously it's less than when she was a newborn feeding like every 90 minutes, but the hunger pain is just it's very sharp. It's just like I'm so hungry. So
fascinating.
It really does just become a matter of like getting enough in, but also nutritious. I really believe that eating nutritious, healthy fats like that is really important for the recovery and probably breast milk supply as well. Sure. So
were you?
I hope that goes well.
Yeah,
for you
thank
guys.
you. No, my sister had a hard time, so I've been a little bit nervous. My wife has been so chill, actually, in all of this. She's
great.
been very relaxed, which is it seemed like it would have when we first got married a few years in, people probably would have thought it was the other way around. I don't know what has happened to me. I'm a very risk-taking person, but like when I'm around little kids now, if they're like near a ledge this big, I'm like, I'm like ready to grab them. I'm like, what is happening to me? I used to talk so big. Oh, I'm gonna, fall in the dirt, rub some dirt in it, blah blah blah. Now I'm like, I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to be the one that gets reined back, like helicopter parent. Step over here for a second, please.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting.
Yeah. Well, I think being chill is good, especially about breastfeeding. Like I think it came very, very easily for me.
That's awesome.
There's a little bit of I don't know if it's a learning curve, but there's a transition stage where you're physically not used to someone sucking on, can we say nipples? Someone sucking on your nipples. So that is there was like 2 weeks of pretty intense pain there, but once you get past that, that's just, you getting used to it. And then it's been so good. So I'm very grateful. And I think the thing I told myself was we were made to do this. First of all, we were made to do this. And second of all, women have been doing this since the beginning of time. Like it's just nature, and people did it before there was the internet and before there was Instagram and all these things. So I can do it. Like that
does
was my
make
attitude.
me interested to know, because nowadays, like especially in the Instagram age, it's like, here's the 5 things you need to know about becoming a mom before you become one, or whatever. It's just,
oh my gosh, just don't even look. That's my other piece of advice you didn't ask for is honestly, like, stay off the internet and all the Instagram stuff as much as possible, especially with sleep. I mean, sometimes it's helpful to read some blog posts about like sleeping and wake windows, especially, but ultimately, like, your baby's gonna wake up. They're gonna wake up a lot. They need you. And if they're crying, they need you. Like, there's something they need, and sometimes it's just you, and sometimes it's just snuggling you. And like that's how it is. That's just like their human nature, right? So I don't know. I think sometimes it's like, oh, what are we doing wrong? What's wrong with our baby? And it's like, nothing's wrong.
That's
your baby just needs
we were saying this for like the benefit of my wife, but honestly, my Instagram looks more like a pregnant woman than my wife's. It's actually, it's really funny.
So
I get all the birthing stuff. Here's to know how long to let the blood flow out of the. Until you cut it, and like, here's the vaccines you should do. Here's that. Here's this, and I'm like, hold on, everybody. Like, my wife's like, you're fine.
I do think birth prep is valuable. I did an online birth prep class, but I was also planning. I don't know what your wife's planning on. I planned a natural birth at a birthing center. So I wanted to feel just like very confident and understand what I was going into, like what was going to happen. And I think that brought peace for me. But again, I did like an online class, not what Instagram
Yeah.
told me.
Maybe I need
So-
to take one. My wife, she can.
Yeah, maybe you need to take the birthing class. I can send you one. I have a
You may
great
have
one.
to, because like she's totally chilled. Like she's like, yeah, I'm gonna go to the hospital for this one. Her dad's a family practice doctor. Her mom's a CRNA, so her mom's gonna
cool.
come here for it. So
Cool.
there'll be enough qualified people in the room that I don't think I need to like try to freak out. But I'm gonna be probably not trying to not to pass out and just like, hey, yeah, I'm here. This is great. So we'll see. But
yeah.
yeah.
That's
Were you at
awesome.
all afraid? Because I've heard of some women feeling this, and then my wife expressed it a little bit. Like she was afraid that she wouldn't actually bond with her baby. Did you have any of that fear?
Oh. No, I didn't have any of that fear. No, I didn't. I guess I didn't. And I didn't think too much about that, I guess, because I just knew, like, this is my baby.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
to take care of it. Whether I bond or not, I'm going to take care of it. And I don't know, maybe I never didn't feel bonded, but for sure, like, the bond
Deepened.
grew, right, as time went on.
Thanks for answering that. Are you? How do I phrase this question? Like you mentioned earlier, identity crisis is kind of something you went through. Do you feel like you are secure
Yeah.
now? And like, because I asked you before, like, who is Skye? But I feel like it's appropriate to ask that question again. Like, who is Skye now?
Yeah.
And have you come to terms with like this whole frame of mind of how you identify with yourself and how you are comfortable with letting everyone know who you are now?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think who I am now, it was a process to, I guess, yeah, just come to terms with it was really what it was, right? Because I thought I would have my baby and I would get back to being Skye the triathlete, but I would have a baby as well and I'd be a mom. But it's crazy how much the mom part is the focus, and that's who I feel like. I feel like a mom now. Like that's my favorite part about myself now, right? That's my favorite part about my life is being a mom. So, yeah, I can't remember what.
Yeah,
the
it
whole
was just
question
like,
was.
with the identity crisis that you had, like, do you feel like you've arrived at this place where, yeah, I'm a mom
Yeah.
and I like that and that's who I am?
Yeah. Yeah. And I also have come to a place where I understand that identity is likely going to shift a lot over the next like 5 to 10 years. And even though I'll be a mom for the rest of my life, the intensity with which I'll be a mom is going to vary because, you know, the first year of life, especially
So much attention needed.
babies. Yeah. The babies need their mom like so much. They need you for everything, literally everything, even just holding them. Like I feel like I held my baby for 5 months straight and I loved every second of it.
After holding it for 9 months straight.
Exactly. And, you know, in a few years, or even in a couple years, like say we decide to put her into like nursery school or something and she's gone a few hours during the week here and there, like then I'll have like this new time opened up to me and then my identity is going to shift again. So yeah, I think I've just accepted that I'm just in a completely new chapter and I'm going to have these identity shifts probably regularly. And part of that is also going to come because I'm going to have to accept at some point that Lois doesn't need me as much as she needs me now. And that goes back to like the heartbreak part where you're like, oh my gosh, she doesn't need me, or, oh, she doesn't want to snuggle me, or all those things. So yeah. And I think the bigger thing that I'm at peace with is just like doing things for the right reasons or doing things because it feels right to me. I think I feel at peace with living at peace no matter the cost, right? Because right now the cost for me, we could say, is less sponsors or less whatever, less performance, less racing. And that's fine because I'm at peace with it.
That's really
so,
what matters.
Yeah.
Because on your deathbed, what are people going to care about? Or what are you going to care about most? Yeah.
Totally.
So
Yeah.
Is it fair to say that you feel most like yourself now? I'll just ask you that. What makes you feel like most like yourself now? Or when?
I mean, I think just living in alignment with what feels right makes me feel like myself, because then I'm not cortisol through the roof, stress through the roof, pressure or worried about what other people or sponsors or whatever are thinking. And yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel it feels very natural. I feel like myself taking care of Lois and being with Lois most of the day. And I still go smash out some great workouts. And that feels great too, because that's a big part of me, right? So it's not like I've lost that part of me. It's just, it's different now. And I will say, like, with the workouts, there's like this new level unlocked as well.
Like depth
for me.
You can go to?
And maybe it's because I'm on. Yeah, or just like I can just do it. Like, I don't think about it. I just do it. I don't stress about it. And that doesn't mean that I'm like blowing my watts out of the water compared to a couple years ago. We're not there yet, but I think it's because I want to do it. And part of it is probably also that, okay, here's my window where I can do it. So either do it or don't. And I just go do it. So that's kind of cool. It's kind of cool to experience that. It's kind of like every session I do, it's because I want to do it, not because I have to. And maybe part of that too is because I'm kind of deciding what I do every day.
How long did you take off of like, okay, baby, and then here's when I got back on the horse again?
So I originally thought that I would start back up within like 2 to 3 months of having my baby. And I did get back to exercising, I will call it. Like, I went for a swim about 4 weeks postpartum. I rode my bike about 8 weeks postpartum. And then I started running around 12 weeks postpartum. But that was all based on how I felt, if I felt up for it. And like, this was not a training program. I think including my walks, I was probably exercising like 8 hours a week for many months. But I also I was exhausted because, you know, you're up all night. So I just thought there's just literally no point in trying to train a certain amount or a certain way right now. And I also didn't feel ready to just like leave my baby to go train a lot. So I started with my coach. To answer your actual question, I started with my coach. I was almost 5 months postpartum is when I started on a program. So yeah, I guess that's when you could say I officially got back on the horse. But yeah, I was very unfit when I started back up. Yeah. That's for sure. But that's okay.
Ask, when's the last time you felt that level of just lack of fitness? Like, how many years has it been, you think, since you were back at that similar level?
Oh, so long. I don't even know that I could think. I mean, I had a really bad bike crash in 2019 and I couldn't train how I wanted to for like 7 or 8 weeks. But even that, like, I was able to ride my bike on Zwift.
Still keep the aerobic engine.
That maybe was like when I felt equally fit. But it's funny because coming back, like, I thought I would feel way worse, way more unfit than I did. And I forgot that, like, you start where you're at. You don't start at where you used to be, if that makes sense. So, like, what I was doing was all within reach. And yes, it did burn. And I think the feeling unfit part, it was more mental probably than anything, because I would compare what I would compare to old Skye. I'm like, oh my gosh, this used to be like so easy. So part of it is just the mental part where you're comparing yourself. So, but I will say, hold on, I have like a scratch in my throat. I will say that the unfit part, and that includes actual fitness, that includes body composition, all the above that, you know, kind of comes into play with being fit or unfit. It was way easier to live in that state than I thought it would be. Because as someone who has been so fit for so many years and, you know, has looked a certain way, has felt a certain way, because being fit feels a certain way. Like, you feel a certain way when you're fit.
Like how you look at it in the mirror.
Well, and your body just feels different. Like, you just, you feel different. You look different, all those things, like you said. And I remember thinking that it would be very hard to, like, feel feel unfit and look unfit. And I was, right? Like I gained 40 pounds in my pregnancy, and after my baby, I remember maybe this is a mistake. I got on the scale like a week after I had my baby, and I was still 30 pounds heavier. And then like it kind of drops off in chunks. So anyway, doesn't matter. Like your body has to do what it has to do to build a beautiful baby. But I remember thinking like, it's crazy. I'm actually totally okay with this right now. Like I'm not sitting here thinking, oh my gosh, I look huge, I look unfit. Like I didn't feel that way at all. Because I think just your focus is your baby, and it's just crazy. I guess that's one thing I expected of myself that went differently than I thought. So, and it's not like I didn't want to be back to my fit self, of course, but that just wasn't the focus. The focus was taking care of my baby. And you just buy a few pair of bigger pants, you get the bigger bras, you just buy some bigger clothes, and then your clothes don't feel tight and it's fine.
I'll remember that.
So, and now I
get to that age.
Yeah, when you get to that point. But yeah, it's just interesting as someone who went from being very, very fit, and I gained plenty of weight, and I stayed. It's not like I went on a binger and ate whatever I wanted. Like that's just what my body did. So
hard to control that.
Yeah, like my body did what it needed to do, and I respected that, and I did not have any problem with how I looked or felt postpartum. Now, of course, here I am 14 months later, and it's nice to fit into my clothes, and it's nice to feel fit again, but that was never, ever like a stress for me.
You trusted it would come back? I just didn't worry about it.
Yeah, like, I just didn't worry about it. Like, it was like, of course this is how it is. I'm sitting on my butt taking care of a baby, and like I'm loving doing it. So like my focus is not trying to lose weight or to feel a certain way or to get fit at right now.
So change.
Time heals a lot, So
is there, because we talked a little bit ago about what new parents need, asking how you're doing. Is there something you wish people asked you more often? Like
asked me as in like texted me and asked, no, like I really appreciate the friends who just reached out and said, how are you doing? Because then that's just an open-ended question, and you can share as much or as little as you want. And I think the other thing I really appreciated, like I think about my training partners, how many times I've bailed or haven't showed up to like a training session because I was too tired. Like I was up all night, and then I turned my alarm off. And like, no, everyone's been really understanding. And of course, none of my friends are going to be like, you suck, Skye. But like, I'm sure there was some frustration there, right? Like we planned to meet up and I didn't show up, and everyone's been understanding. And of course I apologize. Like, I'm sorry. I was exhausted,
in a car crash
blah, blah, blah.
Or something crazy.
So yeah, I think just asking a new mother how they're doing, and then just also being very understanding. Like our world revolves around this baby right now, and we're exhausted. So I cannot be held to a like standard of timeliness or anything.
The sky's the limit changes based on where you are in the pregnancy circle.
The limit. Yeah, there are limits.
Are you still doing your podcast?
Yeah, I actually recorded. Jackie Herring and I have been doing episodes together, which has been fun because we can talk about our mom life. And yeah, we just did one last week, I think, and we're planning to keep some going. So yeah, I didn't put an episode out for like a year, probably. I really died off there, and then
resurrected it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, we're resurrecting it.
I have to reach out to Jackie again. I've been meaning to try to get her on for a second round. She's
Oh yeah, she's great.
Super mom, like crazy. I see what she's doing. I was like, wow, I don't think I could do that. Like,
yeah, her kids are in school now. She is super mom, and she has such good wisdom. But she, she just is able to use that time while her kids are in school, and I know she goes and does like super early swims sometimes too. So that is super. 6 a.m. swims or 5:30 a.m. swims.
Yeah. It's like, and my arms don't even work really at that hour.
Yeah, it's very hard to get out of bed.
Well, Skye, thank you so much for opening up in the way that you did. I think it's great whenever people are able to cry a little bit on this podcast because it hopefully lets people.
You love making people cry.
No, it makes me feel like like the space is comfortable enough to where like you can share that kind of stuff. And I love getting to the meat and bones of what's going on in people's lives. And having you on the first time is obviously a joy to do that. But then the second time, seeing now that you have a 1-year-old. And obviously, because I'm going to be having a kid here soon, it's like a super special episode. Yeah. I think it'll be number 2 for the season. So, thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Cool. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much to Skye for coming on the episode on the podcast again for a second time. Really enjoyed it. She is a gem. I love that she was able to have the vulnerability to share to the point of tears a number of different things. Really appreciate that because it shows that there's some deep thoughts going on inside, and when those get shared to other people, I think it really brings about a lot of value for us all. So thank you so much, Skye, and thank you for listening. If you made it to this point in the podcast, you are the MVP. If you could like, comment, subscribe, share, sign up for the newsletter, all those things, that really does continue to help just grow this podcast. It's a small knit community, and I appreciate you being a part of it. Thank you so much, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.